You stand at the precipice of a profound transformation, a moment many will overlook, but one that beckons you. Specifically, October 13th is not merely a date, it is a quantum threshold, a convergence where the accumulated energy you carry confronts the becoming of your future self. If these words resonate, it's because an unseen current pulled you here, not by chance, but by design. Understand why these coming days hold an alchemical potency, far surpassing the entire month that recedes behind you. A peculiar weight settles as cycles draw to a close. Have you felt it? Not the exhaustion of overexertion, but a subtler density, the lingering resonance of every whispered intention left unmanifested, every silent promise to self unfulfilled, every comfortable retreat from the chrysalis of change. September's door closes, and suddenly, you face an unvarnished reflection. It's not the ideal you chase, but the authentic frequency you've been broadcasting. This recognition, however stark, is the first tremor of transformation seeking to reclaim you. Most navigate these monthly transitions as a mere turning of a page, registering the date shift, but missing the profound energetic realignment beneath. They drag forward the same frequencies, the same patterns, the same unconscious loops, condemning themselves to perpetual returns to the familiar. Yet, the cosmos itself is woven with inherent reset points, not as punitive measures, but as expansive opportunities. These temporal thresholds are cosmic invitations to shed what no longer serves and ascend to a higher vibrational expression of yourself. October 13th is precisely such a threshold, approaching with silent urgency. The perceived heaviness of endings isn't a verdict of failure. It's your consciousness striving to close circuits that continue to hum in the background. Neuroscience identifies this as the Zeigarnik effect, the mental phenomenon where unfinished tasks demand more cognitive energy than completed ones. But this wisdom extends beyond psychology, into the energetic fabric of being. Every unfulfilled intention, every half-abandoned goal, every difficult conversation deferred, creates an open loop in your energetic field. Imagine countless applications running simultaneously on your device. Even dormant, they deplete your battery. Your very life force functions similarly. Each unresolved commitment, each unkept promise, drains power from your present moment. As a cycle culminates, this energetic drain becomes undeniably palpable. Picture an individual on September's final evening, exhausted not from physical exertion, but from the invisible fragmentation of their mental landscape. Half-finished projects litter their space. Unread books lie untouched. Urgent messages remain unsent. Their body aches, yet it's not muscle fatigue, but consciousness itself, stretched thin across myriad unclosed timelines. This is the hidden toll of a life devoid of closure. Your energy scatters backward, attempting to sustain these unresolved frequencies simultaneously. If this resonates, it is a signal. Your higher self is knocking, seeking attention before these burdens cross into the next phase with you. This discomfort is not a sign of failure, but a profound message. It is consciousness itself whispering, "It's time to discern what accompanies you across this threshold and what remains behind." This is the sublime gift embedded within endings. They compel conscious engagement. They introduce a potent pause within the relentless momentum of daily existence, demanding an honest assessment of what you've genuinely been cultivating versus the narrative you've told yourself. True growth rarely blossoms from comfort. It germinates from acute awareness. Month-end transitions, especially those converging with energetically significant dates like October 13th, are cosmic catalysts designed to awaken, not to shame. The universe illuminates the chasm between your intentions and your actions, not to diminish you, but to provide the clarity essential for bridging that gap moving forward. The unusual weight of September wasn't judgment. It was the echo of your own soul pleading to be acknowledged. And that very discomfort is irrefutable proof of your readiness for something profoundly different. Discomfort, paradoxically, is always the threshold's doorway. So, The essential question shifts from, why does this feel so heavy, to, what is this heaviness striving to reveal to me? Endings do not merely close chapters. They carve out sacred space. And within that energetic clearing, that profound void between what was and what could be, transformation finds its fertile ground. October 13th awaits on the other side of that liminal space. Yet, whether you step through burdened by old frequencies or emerge as a newly forged iteration of yourself, that choice is actively unfolding in this very moment. Most perceive October 13th as just another sequential mark on a calendar, devoid of deeper significance. But what if the very fabric of time operates differently than our linear perception suggests? Chronological time, the story our minds weave to make sense of continuous presence, is but one dimension. Beneath this narrative lies energetic time, quantum time, a realm where certain moments vibrate with amplified potential. These are not mere markers. And October 13th is one such portal. Quantum physics, echoing ancient mystics, confirms a profound truth. The observer collapses the wave function. Your attention, your conscious awareness, doesn't merely witness reality. It actively participates in its creation. In every moment of your existence, you are not merely experiencing predetermined events. You are actively collapsing infinite possibilities into a singular outcome, dictated by the frequency of your consciousness. This explains why two individuals can navigate the identical day and experience vastly divergent realities. They inhabit not different worlds, but collapse different probabilities from the same quantum field, based on their internal resonance. October 13th functions similarly. It holds no inherent magic, but it transmutes into a potent portal when you consciously decree it to be so. Behavioral scientists term these temporal landmarks moments your brain psychologically recognizes as significant, granting permission to detach from the past and initiate anew. New Year's Day is the archetypal example, where collective consciousness designates January 1st as a fresh beginning, inspiring millions to attempt a paradigm shift. Yet, a deeper truth remains largely unacknowledged. You are not bound by culturally mandated landmarks. You possess the innate power to forge your own. When you consciously designate a specific moment as your personal threshold for transformation, you are engaging with the same quantum mechanics that choreograph the universe itself. The common pitfall is mistaking a fresh calendar page for actual, internal change. The belief persists that a new date equates to a new life. However, nothing in your external reality truly shifts unless a commensurate shift first occurs within your internal landscape. You cannot drag the same thoughts, the same limiting beliefs, the same habitual patterns across a new temporal boundary and anticipate divergent results. That is not transformation. It is merely rearranging the furniture in the same room. Authentic change blossoms when you decisively cross a threshold, leaving something behind not physically, but energetically. It demands a conscious choice to release a resonant frequency, to discard an old narrative, to cease identifying with a version of yourself that no longer serves your spiritual evolution. Therefore, right now, as you absorb these words, I invite you to engage in a profound act. I want you to truly feel into the presence of your younger self, not as a ghost of memory, but as a living, vibrating energy within you. Where do you sense them? Is it a subtle constriction in your chest, a tension in your throat, a hollow ache in your stomach? Simply observe. Do not judge. Do not attempt to fix. Just notice. Because that sensation, be it tightness, heaviness, or a dull ache, is not a problem to be solved. It is a profound communication. There was no overnight overhaul. Instead, they consciously chose one new behavior, a subtle frequency shift their past self would have resisted. They sanctified that choice, treating it as non-negotiable, as the vibrational signature of their evolving identity. By month's end, they were profoundly altered, not because October bestowed anything upon them, but because they leveraged October as an accelerator to embody the version of themselves they had previously evaded. This is the profound teaching. Dates do not transform you. You transform you. When you pause, when you truly listen, you forge a bridge, a quantum entanglement between your past and your present. You cultivate coherence within your entire system, and coherence, in this context, is everything. For when your past and present remain in conflict, when a part of you strains to move forward, while another is perpetually frozen in yesterday, you fragment your energetic field. You splinter your inherent power. You transmit conflicting signals into the vast field of possibility that surrounds you. And then, you wonder why manifestation feels so elusive, why genuine change seems so insurmountable, why you perpetually recreate the same self-limiting patterns. Time ceases to feel like something merely happening to you. It becomes a canvas for conscious co-creation. You recognize these moments were never arbitrary. They have always been holding sacred space for your deliberate choice. Autopilot or conscious co-pilot. The reset is unequivocally real, but its activation is contingent upon your conscious acknowledgement of its reality. So, the fundamental question remains: will you allow October 13th to recede like any other day? Or will you consciously traverse it as a portal, relinquishing the version of yourself tethered to old patterns, and stepping through as an intentional architect of your becoming? That threshold approaches, and your conscious or unconscious passage through it will indelibly shape all that unfolds thereafter. Go ahead. Drop that comment now. I see you, younger me, and I'm bringing you home. Because here is the profound recalibration that occurs when you utter that declaration. You cease being fragmented. You end the internal war with yourself. You stop striving to prove you are fundamentally different from who you once were. Instead, you begin to recognize that who you were is the sacred foundation upon which who you are becoming is built. Not a foundation to be demolished, but one to be honored, understood, and deliberately built upon. And your younger self, they feel this. They intellectualize transformation, discuss it, journal about it, consume inspiring content. But when the moment arrives to embody it, to move differently, speak differently, choose differently, they instinctively revert to the familiar frequency. The subsequent month then feels not new, but like a weary rerun. Same schedule, same reactions, same quiet disappointments, merely dressed in slightly altered circumstances. The stage may shift, but the underlying script remains stubbornly unchanged. So, how does one authentically cross this threshold? How do you transmute October 13th into a potent portal rather than just another ephemeral day? The answer lies in the potent alchemy of intention, paired with decisive action. Not vague aspirations, not nebulous hopes, but conscious, specific, and embodied choices that broadcast an unequivocal signal to the quantum field. I am no longer available for the old pattern. Let's explore this practical embodiment. First, approach the days leading up to October 13th as an energetic inventory, not a self-critical judgment session. Retrieving recognizes your past as something sacred, essential, to be deeply integrated. And true integration does not demand that you relive the pain. It does not necessitate dramatizing trauma or performing healing for an external audience. It means you simply acknowledge what occurred. You honor the profound resilience it took to endure it, and you permit that younger version of yourself to finally rest in the profound knowing that they did enough. They were enough. And they brought you here. Engage in this process with sacred intention. Dedicate a quiet moment, free from distraction and multitasking. This matters, so treat it with the reverence it deserves. Obtain a notebook or a blank document and inscribe 3 specific frequencies you are prepared to release before October 13th. Resist superficialities. Delve deeper. Perhaps it's the frequency of habitual self-apology for merely existing, or the pattern of numbing emotional discomfort with endless scrolling, or the ingrained belief of perpetually lagging, perpetually insufficient. These are not mere thoughts. They are vibrating patterns permeating your field, whether consciously perceived or not. Naming them brings them into the light of awareness, and once illuminated, you gain the power to consciously lay them down. The act of writing is the first ritual of closure. It is your solemn declaration to yourself and the cosmos. These loops are now complete. I am no longer available for this frequency. I release it with mindful awareness and gratitude for the lessons it imparted, yet it does not cross this threshold into my next chapter. This act is more than symbolic. Energetically, you are closing circuits. You are granting your consciousness explicit permission to cease running those background applications that have silently drained your power. Then comes the profound invitation, the opening for what is to emerge. On a fresh page, articulate 3 specific intentions for the version of yourself that will exist on the other side of October 13th. The critical distinction here is specificity and embodiment. These cannot be vague aspirations. They must be concrete, actionable behaviors you can integrate into your daily lived experience. The beautiful paradox is that you do not need to journey back in time to undertake this work. You do not need to meticulously excavate every single memory or process every single emotion. You simply need to be present, now, with the living essence of the younger you, who still resides within your physical body, within your intricate nervous system, within the very cadence of your breath, when fear grips you, or the subtle way you instinctively hold your shoulders when you strive to diminish yourself. One is a wish floating in the ethereal, the others are vibrational choices, anchored into your daily reality. When your intentions are precisely defined and deeply embodied, you lend October 13th a definitive form. You provide the quantum field with a clear blueprint around which to organize. And here's the truth most miss. The universe does not respond to your wants. It responds to what you embody. It mirrors back the frequency you are consistently broadcasting. Thus, when you deliberately choose specific actions your old self would never undertake, you are not merely setting goals. You are signaling a new identity. You are collapsing a different probability. You are actively becoming someone new. Now, take a moment. Pause this sacred transmission if you need to. I compel you to declare, either aloud or in the comments below, with unwavering intention, this is your declaration to the very field of existence, your conscious interruption of old loops. I am crossing the threshold. I release what no longer serves, and I claim the frequency of who I'm becoming. Make this declaration now. This is not mere digital engagement. It is energetic participation. You are proclaiming your sovereign choice to the quantum field. Each conscious declaration strengthens the neural pathways, making that chosen reality increasingly probable. So, go forth. Make your declaration. The profound architecture of consciousness and reality shifting, which we've merely grazed today, hints at something far deeper. If you feel an undeniable resonance, a calling to comprehend the intricate mechanics of transitioning from survival frequencies to becoming a living conduit of your highest potential, I have meticulously crafted a comprehensive guide. Beyond the Frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery. It illuminates the 9 master frequencies governing profound transformation, from dismantling the frequency prison most inhabit to embodying the silent witness that collapses probability itself. It awaits you. Linked in the pinned comment below. This process works, especially now, because your brain is neurologically hardwired for closure. Just as closing dormant apps streamlines your device, your mind thrives on closed energetic loops. When you cease dragging unresolved frequencies into each new moment, your energy transforms from scattered fragmentation to focused coherence. October 13th naturally presents itself as a distinct line in your perceptual field, between before and after. When you consciously delineate what ends and what begins on that line, you are not struggling against the current. You are aligning with the inherent rhythm of conscious evolution. It is the very work that fundamentally alters families, that profoundly shifts communities, that ultimately transforms the entire vibrational field of human consciousness. Because every individual who undertakes their inner work, who courageously confronts their own pain, instead of unconsciously passing it on, who deliberately chooses awareness over ingrained avoidance, they elevate the collective frequency for all. They render it simpler for the next individual to awaken. They cultivate a powerful permission for others to be authentically honest about their own struggles. I choose to perceive every closed door as a redirection toward something divinely aligned. Then, they acted from this new frequency. They pursued positions they previously deemed too intimidating, reached out to individuals they had previously feared contacting. Within 3 weeks, an opportunity manifested so perfectly aligned. They realized the original rejection was not a loss, but divine protection, the universe clearing the path for their authentic destiny. None of this would have been discernible had they continued to carry September's resonant frequency into October. Take a moment now and share in the comments. What are you ready to release before October 13th? What frequency or limiting belief are you finally laying down? Sometimes, naming it within the embrace of community amplifies the liberation. This is the essence of the shift. Letting go, paired with an audacious stride forward. Release cultivates space. Clear intention fills that space. And embodied action transmutes concept into lived reality. October 13th will not perform the work for you, but it will exponentially amplify whatever frequency you choose to bring to it. The sole remaining question is, will you consciously claim that amplification? Will you traverse that threshold imbued with clarity and unwavering intention? Or will you permit it to recede as you remain enmeshed in the same narrative you've recited for months? Because here is a truth, uncomfortable but vital. Passively awaiting a better moment will not conjure it. Hoping circumstances will shift autonomously is a delusion, perhaps not flawlessly, perhaps not without the honorable scars of battle, but you became them. Every instance you chose to rise again, you validated their unwavering faith. Every time you chose radical honesty over comfortable pretense, raw vulnerability over impenetrable armor, embodied presence over numbing distraction, you honored their nascent belief in you. Every time you allowed yourself to cry not polite tears, but the full-bodied, guttural sobs that erupt from places you didn't know existed, you honored their suppressed pain. If this message resonates deep within your being, if something undeniable within you stirs, then I extend an invitation to something deeper. Subscribe to this channel, not merely for more videos, but to remain tethered to this frequency, to remind yourself that you are an integral part of a growing community, choosing to awaken, to become conscious co-creators, to transcend autopilot, and embrace intentional living. The more of us who embody this truth, the more the collective field shifts. Your individual transformation is not solely personal, it is planetary. So, subscribe, anchor yourself in this space, and let us collectively build this new paradigm. What many fail to grasp about thresholds like October 13th is this fundamental truth. The moment itself is not inherently magical. You, within your being, hold the magic. The date merely serves as a container, a focal point, an anchor for your consciousness to coalesce around a specific decision. But the profound transformation stems from your claiming of it, from your conscious decree that this moment holds significance because you are making it so. This is the quantum principle most frequently missed. Reality is not an external event happening to you. You are actively collapsing it into form through the convergence of your attention and intention. Consider the observer effect in quantum mechanics. A particle behaves distinctly when observed compared to when it is not. The act of measurement, of conscious attention, collapses the wave of probability into a singular, manifest outcome. Your life functions identically. When you bring conscious awareness to a moment and declare it sacred, you collapse probability. You transmute what was mere potential into tangible actuality. October 13th floats in the quantum field as pure potentiality. What it becomes for you is entirely dependent on how you meet it. This is the profound mechanism behind intention setting. It's not about magically conjuring from thin air, but about focusing your consciousness with laser-like precision. And focused consciousness possesses immense creative power. When you declare, "This is who I am becoming," and fortify that declaration with aligned action, you are literally rewiring your neural pathways. You are carving new grooves in the neuroplastic landscape of your brain, making the new behavior increasingly effortless to repeat. And with each repetition, the groove deepens, the pattern strengthens, the new identity solidifies, until one day you look back and realize you are no longer merely pretending to be someone new. You have, in fact, become them. However, there is a shadow side, often unaddressed. Profound personal transformation inevitably creates discomfort in those around you, not because they begrudge your growth, but because your evolution subtly reflects the choices they are not making. When you begin to show up differently, speak with a new voice, choose from an altered frequency, it disrupts the established equilibrium of your relationships. It's linked in the pinned comment below. So, what does this look like in the practical, embodied sense? How do you genuinely integrate your younger self in a way that is authentic, impactful, and manifests tangible transformation in your daily life? It commences with presence, with the unwavering willingness to feel what you have consistently sought to avoid, to sit with the raw discomfort of unprocessed emotions, to allow grief to move through you, rather than attempting to circumvent it. To grant anger a voice. Instead of perpetually policing its expression, you can honor the role they played in your journey, and yet choose to walk a divergent path. This is not coldness or dismissal. It is radical honesty. Some souls are destined for your entire life's voyage, while others are meant for a profound, albeit finite, season. October 13th might be the very threshold where you finally grant yourself permission to discern which is which. The resistance you will encounter is not solely external. It is equally internal. Your ego, the aspect of you that has orchestrated the narrative for so long, fiercely resists its own dissolution. Even if the patterns it has fostered are painful, they are familiar. And the ego, in its primal drive for survival, prefers familiar pain over the perceived uncertainty of freedom. So, as October 13th approaches, anticipate a surge of internal resistance. Your mind will conjure torrents of doubt. Let us approach it one manageable piece at a time. This, precisely, is the conversation your younger self has been yearning for. Not the performative spectacle of healing, not the Instagram-worthy facade of transformation, but the real, often unglamorous, sometimes uncomfortable, sacred work of showing up for yourself when no one else is watching, when there is no external validation to be gained, when the sole reward is the quiet, expansive growth of internal coherence. You cannot become that person while passively awaiting an inner sense of confidence to arrive. You become them by acting as them before you feel like them. This is the sacred bridge. Faith in action, embodiment, preceding empirical evidence. You do not wait to feel like someone who honors their word before you begin honoring your word. You begin honoring your word, and in that committed action, you become someone who does. The action forges the identity, not the inverse. So, when resistance arises, when doubt's chorus grows loud, when your mind attempts to persuade you to wait just a little longer, recognize it for what it is. Not wisdom, not intuition, but primal fear disguised as reason. And then, choose anyway. Not from a place of fearlessness, but from an unwavering commitment to something far greater than your fear. The radiant version of yourself that awaits beyond this threshold. And that version is unequivocally worth traversing any fire. Let us now delve even deeper, for there's a profound layer to this moment that directly informs October 13th's unique potential. In numerology, the number 13 has been culturally misconstrued as unlucky. Yet, in ancient wisdom traditions, 13 represents transformation through the cycles of death and rebirth. It embodies the frequency of relinquishing old forms to create sacred space for the new, the energetic confluence of completion and new beginnings existing simultaneously. The 13th card in the tarot is Death, signifying not literal demise, but ego death, identity death, the shedding of what has been outgrown, so that a truer, more authentic version of self can emerge. October, the 10th month, carries the vibrational frequency of completion and wholeness. When October aligns with the 13th, you stand in a potent convergence, where completion meets profound transformation, where endings are merely the fertile ground for new beginnings. This is not superstition. It is archetypal energy, recognized across diverse cultures for millennia. The lunar cycle further amplifies this dynamic. Depending on October 13th's relation to the moon phases, you are either bathed in the energy of release near a waning or new moon, or the potency of manifestation near a waxing or full moon. In either alignment, you are within a powerful energetic window. The moon governs cycles, tides, and rhythms, influencing everything from ocean currents to human emotion to agricultural patterns. The unadulterated joy you experienced before someone taught you that happiness was a privilege to be earned, rather than a natural state to be experienced. All of that is still exquisitely there. All of that is still powerfully available. It is simply awaiting your conscious turning, your heartfelt invitation to return. When your conscious intention aligns with archetypal timing, you are stacking the energetic deck in your favor. You are working with the current, not against it, allowing the natural rhythm of energy to support your metamorphosis, rather than attempting to force change at arbitrary, unresonant moments. A crucial element often overlooked is the deeper descent into autumn in the northern hemisphere that mid-October heralds. Nature itself models the profound process you are being called to embody. Trees gracefully release their leaves, not as a sign of dying, but as an essential preparation for a new cycle of vigorous growth. They shed what is no longer needed to conserve vital energy for the emergence that is to come. They do not cling to summer, striving to maintain green leaves through sheer willpower. They surrender to the inherent rhythm, trusting that this letting go is an indispensable part of renewal. And if you observe closely, there is profound wisdom in this seasonal surrender. Perhaps the heaviness you've carried is not a pathology, but nature's gentle whisper, inviting you to allow certain aspects of yourself to fall away, to cease expending precious energy, desperately trying to sustain what has already fulfilled its purpose, to trust that the seemingly bare branches are not empty. They are making sacred space for the burgeoning life force that will unfurl with spring. Because you have carried them for so long, tirelessly attempting to protect them, striving to prove that life does improve, endeavoring to show them that all that profound pain ultimately led somewhere meaningful. And now, you can finally convey the unvarnished truth. It did lead somewhere. It led here to this precise moment, to this profound awareness, to this expansive capacity to see yourself clearly and to love yourself anyway. For most of our lives, we do not consciously choose our patterns. We merely repeat them on autopilot. The precise moment you interrupt that autopilot with awareness, you create a choice point. And every single choice point is a potent opportunity to collapse a new probability. When October 13th arrives, honor it. Do not let it recede into the ordinary flow of days. Create a ritual. It need not be elaborate, but it must be intentional. Light a candle. Sit in profound stillness. Reread the intentions you inscribed. Speak them aloud. Feel them resonate within your physical body. Visualize yourself already embodying that frequency, not as a fleeting fantasy, but as a felt, lived experience. Your nervous system, in its profound wisdom, cannot discern the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a physical one. Therefore, when you dedicate time to truly feel into the person you are becoming, you are training your body to recognize that new frequency as its true home. You are transforming the new identity from a foreign concept into a familiar, integrated reality. And the more familiar it becomes, the more effortlessly you will live from it. Then, starting October 14th, you live the intention, not perfectly. Perfection is not the objective. Consistency is. Each day, you consciously choose one action that aligns with your new frequency. Some days, it will feel effortless. Some days, it will feel like moving through dense mud. But you do it anyway. Because transformation is not predicated on perpetual motivation. It is anchored in an unwavering commitment to the identity you are becoming. Even when motivation wanes, commitment remains. Motivation is an emotion, transient and fluctuating. Commitment is a choice, steadfast and enduring. And steady, repeated choice is the very crucible in which a new reality is forged. There is also immense power in documentation. Maintain a simple log, beginning October 13th. Nothing elaborate, just a few sentences each day, noting one way you embodied your new frequency. Did you choose the morning walk over endless scrolling? Document it. Did you speak your truth in a conversation where you would normally have remained silent? Capture it. Did you pause before reacting impulsively and choose a different response? Record it. This is not about cultivating perfectionism or inducing pressure. It is about systematically building irrefutable evidence for your subconscious mind that you are becoming this person. Your subconscious learns through repetition and tangible proof. Every logged moment becomes a data point, reinforcing the new identity. And over time, these data points converge to create an undeniable, self-authored narrative. You are not passively hoping to change. You are actively documenting that you already are. Consider re-watching this transmission each morning until October 13th arrives. Each viewing deepens the neural pathway, strengthens your intention, and keeps you exquisitely aligned with the frequency you are choosing to embody. And if someone in your life is also poised at a threshold, share this with them. When you transmit these profound principles to another consciousness, you are not merely assisting them, you are powerfully reinforcing your own embodiment and generating an energetic ripple that exponentially amplifies transformation within the collective field.